Hey guys, this is Gene Jensen, and today I want to talk about how to set the drag on your reel. All right, well, first of all, what is drag? What is the drag on your reel? The drag on your reel, basically, it's an adjustment that you can make to prevent your line from breaking while you're fighting a fish on a hook set or anything like that. And it causes resistance against that tension that the fish puts on or whatever. So how do you set it? How do you set it properly? Well, there's several different ways. The saltwater guys, a lot of the guys that are where your line strength is critical, you're fighting those hundreds and thousands of pounds of fish on light line. Really, your drag has to be set perfectly. Not so much with bass fishing, but let's talk about how the saltwater guys do it. What they'll do is, for instance, the rule of thumb is you set your drag to 20% of the breaking strength of your line. So I've got 20-pound test fluorocarbon on this jig rod and on this jig reel. And so I would set that to what? To 4 pounds of test on this reel. That's the typical way of doing it. So what they do is they'll take a 4-pound weight, or they'll take a scale and they'll hook the scale to the end of the line and they'll tighten the drag up and they'll loosen it until either that 4-pound weight starts to fall or that scale reads 4 pounds. That's one way of doing it. 20% of your breaking strength of your line. The way I do it is more or less of a feel. I'm fighting a bass. It's going to be no bigger than, well, 22 pounds hopefully. And so I like to have my breaking strength in my head about 50% of my line. So I've got 20-pound line and I go just like this. I turn that star drag down and I pull my line out until I feel like I'm pulling 10 pounds of pressure. Okay, that's a little much. We're going to pull back a little bit. 10 pounds of pressure. Yep, that might be pretty close. Let's turn it down just a hair more. I had it more like 14. So when I feel like I'm pulling 10 pounds, that's when I stop. There's no exact science to it when you're bass fishing. I've never had a problem with breaking the lines on the hook set. When I have it set right, the only problem that I've ever had was when I thought I had 20-pound test line on and I had 12-pound test line on. And I tied a jig on and I broke off 3 jigs on fish before I realized I got the wrong size line on this rod. Another thing is make sure that the line is rated for the size rod you got. This is a medium heavy jig rod, 7'6". A lot of good rod companies will have what pound test line to use. This one says 12 to 25. And so you pay attention to that. If you're talking about braided line, don't worry so much about the pound test. The braid's not going to break so much anyway, so that's all you're worried about. You want to be within the rating of that rod. Other than that, that's how to set your drag. It's like I said, it's not rocket science. Just do it to where you feel like it's about half of what your breaking strength is and you'll be just fine. Well, like I always say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing. Be sure to show my videos. Let me help you teach them how to fish. More importantly, get out on the water, go out and catch some fish and have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe. Take it easy.